Hey everyone and welcome back to a new video. Today something special because this is the top 2018 my personal game of the year list video. And yeah, I was thinking a lot of things, how to do this, how to go about it, and in the end I just wanted to sit down and talk about games. And this time it's scripted, it's well thought out, and I hope you will like it. So, Happy New Year everyone, and I hope you will have a great 2019. Before we take a look at the next games in the next video that are coming in 2019, let's take a look back into 2018, and I'll just talk a little bit about the games that I personally enjoyed a lot, and maybe what I didn't enjoy. It's a mixed bag. Have fun and see you at the end.
Get ready for a Dragon Ball Rumble!
I almost forgot about this title, but only because 2018 was such a long year and had so many great games. That can easily happen. Dragon Ball FighterZ was one of the most memorable games of the Dragon Ball franchise because it was fantastically made, with so much passion and care, while it's being fun to play, to explore, and even the story was half decent, in which I didn't need to feel bored and I enjoyed getting through it actually. I still want to go back and do a retrospective of the immense library of Dragon Ball games that are out here, and of which I have already acquired a good portion, but for now I want to cherish Dragon Ball FighterZ. What a game. Especially with Dragon Ball Super just coming back only a recent time, and it ended in 2018. Of course, that was a fantastic time to play a game like Dragon Ball FighterZ. It made the year just much more sweet as a Dragon Ball fan, and with the Broly movie coming around very soon for the English-speaking audience, and also with a one-time showing here in Germany, I'm really excited to see this new movie, especially after so many reviews are really highly praising it for the art style and the way everything works out in the end for this storyline, which makes me happy, because also there's so much more cool stuff in Dragon Ball left, and with a new storyline coming up in the manga, who knows what will also happen with the animation. Simply sitting down, recording the gameplay for this game again, made me think I would really have fun playing more of that stuff, especially fighting against friends, because the style of the game is not just easy to get into, but also it offers a lot of challenges and difficult aspects, how to delay, for example, attacks, how to recover, and how to, for example, stun an enemy just constantly with attacks and jiggling them around. Plus, of course, the finishing moves are insane, and the destructive finish, especially if it has a special cinematic ending, of course, is one of the greatest features of this game. It really makes it feel like an actual animation episode, especially also because of the style and the very fitting music that the studio has brought together here. So toast to all Dragon Ball fans out there, and of course if you're interested and have not tried it out, you should definitely give Dragon Ball FighterZ a try. It is really something special. Forza Horizon 4 is all around a great experience, my perfect idle and relaxed game in 2018 from the first moment I started it. Not too difficult, but offering great challenges in its lengthy races or short ones depending on your likings, with the 4 seasons and a fantastic collection of cars. There may be people that dislike Horizon 4 because it doesn't have more cars than Horizon 3 maybe, or at least not substantially more, but that didn't affect me because I didn't play Forza Horizon 3 and I also played the base level version of Forza Horizon 4 in the Game Pass, for which I got 2 years free by visiting the Xbox Fan Fest at Gamescom in August 2018. My personal favorite was just to sit down to play single races against the clock on the giant Goliath map. Just one whole trip all around the map with enough time to relax and focus on only one thing: driving my beautiful cars at a quarter of the duration of my playtime. Some games don't need to do too many things, just the right things. Driving Forza Horizon 4 feels amazing to me. The houses that you can buy, and the landscapes are nice goals to work towards, and the lost cars you can find following the barn rumors are a nice street atop of the Forza Wii spins you can acquire constantly after leveling up from races. I did also play, of course, the PlayStation title, which was Gran Turismo Sports, now with a racing wheel, which I cannot use currently with an Xbox. But on PC, it's all just one thing together, so this is where I actually could sit down and have a little comparison. And I have to say, while it's, for example, Gran Turismo Sports was a totally different thing, I can respect both games for what they are. One's trying to be really, really high in the simulation game, and the other one just wants to be fun with cars. And to me, that last one was actually winner for the top racing games of 2018 for me, personally. But of course, also, whilst my time is limited throughout the year, I missed a lot of games. And here's a trailer collection of so many ones that I really had interest in, but sadly did not yet get around to play. But I hopefully will do so in the future, maybe already this year.
One of the first formal studies of the phenomenon was at Harvard Medical School in the year 2000. Participants played the game for 7 hours each, spread over the course of 3 days. Remarkably, 63% of the participants, almost 2/3, reported seeing imagery from the game hours after they finished playing, often just as they were falling asleep. This fact on its own was newsworthy. But even more surprising, amnesic patients with brain damage that prevents them from forming new memories also reported seeing game imagery well after they'd finished playing. These participants were unable to recall having ever played the game, but their descriptions matched those of players with perfect memories. Blocks. They all saw blocks, falling through space, sometimes rotating or fitting neatly into empty spaces between other blocks. Some participants also reported seeing completed lines disappearing.
Every passing day, the winds climb stronger. Joy to light the way, to keep the reminder. I'm yours forever. There is no end in sight for us. Nothing could measure the kind of strength inside our hearts. It's all connected. We're all together in this love. Don't you forget it. We're all connected in this. I'm yours forever. There is no end in sight for us. Nothing could measure the kind of strength inside our hearts. It's all connected. We're all together in this love. Don't you forget it.
The researchers gave this phenomenon a name.
There was this one game by the Swedish developers Zoink, which made me wonder how a game like this could be real. The beautiful art, the faith, had me stoked and excited for the release in 2018 since the announcement at E3 2016, and the behind-the-scenes game presentation at the EA launch at Gamescom 2017 got me even more excited. The product that came out at the end was just okay, nothing too much. A fun walk in the park with some jumping and climbing that lights your eyes up for a few moments, but after that it's just over and you wonder where the real fun or real awe moments came around, but they're all gone already. It's by all means a good game, had maybe 1 or 2 issues on the Nintendo Switch, which seemingly were random and nothing too bad, but so it was definitely not a Fallout 76 situation. So all in all, it just means to me merely that I want to point out that I had real hopes for this game, that I really wanted to love it as a game, and that the previous presentation sadly just came up, and that the previous presentations just made me imagine something bigger than sadly there was in the end. And to me, while it is not a really disastrous title, it's just a little disappointing. It's the one thing that I really want to look back and say, it's a real shame that in 2018 this release was not as good as I was hoping for. Funny enough, at around the same time I also played a little other game which is actually making the top of the list, and that just caught me really by surprise how much I love this. So let's continue with the top 2018 games list.
Mission success.
That fucking kid, GG.
After the severe disappointment that the original release of Destiny 2 was, I had the luck of finding camaraderie with two good squad mates and friends with who I played a lot of Rainbow Six Siege this past year. I really admire the game, the surrounding esports culture, and how interesting the fan base surrounding the game has evolved over the past years since release. A tremendous continuation of interesting updates, new operators, and of course, my own private fun I had with the game. I really need to edit that second episode of Siege moments I have on my hard drive. Or, well, the many more that I also have recorded already. I look with great pleasure back to the fun moments we had each season, though there was controversy regarding the art style changes to comply with the Chinese rules for that market. I got along in the end and decided not to change. Like all good relationships do. Yeah. Anyway, shout out to Rainbow Six Siege. I got my Season 4 pass ready. I can't wait for the next start, even though I played terribly. And yes, this also means there's more stuff coming. I sorted through all my footage and oh my god, so many cool scenes. I have to make a few more videos about this in the great Battle Stories series that I have.
Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
What makes Yakuza great? Well, action, streets, epic boss fights, and you know, sometimes also that casual fetch quest. Listen gang, I haven't played any of the Yakuza games previously, and only in 2018 I finally grabbed my PS4 and started to get into the first title in the chronological order. Yakuza 0. What else can I say then? Oh my god, why did it take so long for me to get to play this series? To be fair, I'm incredibly slow with progress and haven't played past the 4th chapter out of, oh my god, 16? I think I barely touched the game. I guess this isn't really worth talking about as I haven't played a lot of the game. But this isn't a recommendation and go out and buy the games that I liked list. I just wanted to give the Yakuza series a deserved spot on the list of games that I liked, and I like every second of Yakuza 0. I hope I find the time or motivation, and God knows I like motivation of ending games, to end Yakuza 0, maybe to even play through Kiwami 1, and with Kiwami 3, 4, and 5 being already announced as 2019 releases for the West, I'm pretty sure I just won't run out of any games that I can play on my PlayStation 4. Both Kiryu and Majima are fascinating characters, and the story surrounding them is both intense drama mixed with a lot of very comedic and light-hearted moments, which is such a good mix in the game, which basically always comes down to street fights and fetch quests with lots of minigames sprinkled in between. It for sure is a good time to be had and have in the future. So that's my spotlight for the Yakuza series, which I really enjoyed. Good thing I didn't talk about the other game that I have almost finished, but still haven't finished after half a year. I played a few Battle Royale games in 2018, as probably everyone has. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG Mobile, Fortnite, on various systems, and even more recent Battle Royale titles like Call of Duty Blackout, Ring of Elysium, and even Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Looking back at all of these experiences, I feel like I'm done with Battle Royale modes. They're interesting, some of them are really to my liking, and especially with friends together, it's always a good time to be here. Just jump in, play some rounds, and go out after that. But after a few rounds, I'm just done. Guess there aren't any BR games that draw me in long enough that I would really get a taste for them. And I really like to think that this lies in the fact that the amount of time that I play a said game doesn't make me feel like I get any progress done. No matter how many rounds I play, I barely increase my skills or get to a new level, so I can say, yeah, I get somewhere. And frankly, I don't want to play games just for the highlight clip potential. This is in stark contrast to Rainbow Six Siege, which I already talked about. There I really get to learn the places, every corner outside the map, and I know exactly where to go, learn to react to my enemies based on my previous experiences. Is completely different to what I see here in most of the Battle Royale titles. There's only one game mode which packed me really, and that was in the Division 1 with its survival mode, which had a PvP and PvE only mode. So you could also just work together and face the dangers of the city, like hunters for example, while also fighting against the cold climate. It's just trying to survive. And the good thing about that was actually they were constantly getting loot for the main game outside of the Battle Royale mode, which of course has also its own challenges and of course advantages if you get good loot. In fact, The Division Survival was the perfect VR-ish game mode for me, as it was not a standalone experience, but was tied into the main game with a bigger purpose. Just going after cosmetics and dances is just not something that I find really worth getting invested into, you know? So I guess my final thoughts on all these Battle Royale games is, please maybe change your mind on it, of just cranking out a BR game mode, or just standalone BR game. But instead, think a bit further, think wider than just a mode, and make it more appealing to play rather than just to play for the mode itself. And talking about The Division, apparently The Division 2 won't even have such a mode. I think that's an interesting choice. Let's see how it turns out in March. I get that for many, Pokemon Let's Go is not interesting as they're used to getting something different from a Pokemon game. Maybe in some terms even bigger, you know? I preface this because I have to admit that I probably never was a real Pokemon RPG fan since I left my childhood behind. I just don't have the time and patience anymore to click some strategy battles through for hours just to see some experience points filling up a level meter. And I'm not interested in these monsters anymore, they're getting ridiculous. What's a trash bag of a Pokemon? I played Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow then also, and of course also Gold and Silver. And after that, my interest just declined. So to me, the most recent core Pokemon adventures just felt boring. And no matter how many fancy things they were doing in its story, most of these things to me are able to be backtraced to a single source. The Nintendo 3DS is just a painful experience to game on for my size of hands and my ways of life, as I just clearly can't be asked anymore to sit down and stare endlessly into a small, around 7 cm wide screen, or around 2.7 inches. And granted, yes, the Nintendo Switch screen isn't that much bigger, but if I wanted to, I can just put it on the docking station and play on my big TV, resting comfortably on my couch without the risk of getting a stiff neck. And this brings me to Pokemon Let's Go. Pokemon Let's Go is a fun reimagination of the original Pokemon Red and Blue, or Red and Green in Japan, versions, which I played through all of their releases so far and even loved the surprise return of the Gold and Silver versions. It's made easier, faster to progress through, and leaves you with more time to focus on what I personally think Pokemon games should be really about. To catch them all, to treat them as your pets, and to take care of their well-being in a way. It's a bit contradictory to what I said before about thinking what I think about the Pokemon, but at least in Gen 1 and also a little bit in Gen 2, I was still thinking I can sort of build up a relationship to these digital things because they have emotions, at least Pikachu and Eevee in their respective versions, and they're sort of my digital pets, like a whole collection of Tamagotchis that I can have without necessarily putting much work into them that I'm forced to, you know, it's up to me if I want to do that. And plus, even the story that is in Red, Blue and Yellow got changed around a little bit for this release, including more funny changes in its setup, how new things are included, like Blue and Green being characters surrounding our protagonist and friendly rival. And yes, the integration with Pokemon Go helped me especially a lot, since I could just easily use my progress from what I played so far in the mobile game and transfer them over to finally fulfill my Pokédex for the very first time ever. Because I just was not really that determined to finish the Pokédex, I just gotta say it. Well, almost. I only need to find a couple jobs which only have the evolution on my Pokemon Go account. So if anyone wanna trade with me, just hit me up. The most cool thing about the Pokemon Let's Go release is having Pokemon walk around in the world and not having them pop up on the screen anymore. That is amazing, and I like this way of navigating through the Pokemon world, and it's so much more than the old titles. I hope this isn't the only time we see a Let's Go release, or at least a game where this is part of a Pokemon game. I really understand that the core RPG fans want their vision of a Pokemon game, and luckily we know that 2019 will be the year they'll get it. So yeah, without further ado, Pokemon Let's Go. Get the top 3 place on the top 2018 games I played so far. What can I say? Bungie did it. They turned Destiny 2 around after the initial year, just like they did with Destiny 1 and the Taken King. Well, almost as good. It's surprising, but they did it again. In my top 2017 video, I had a whole part about how I was disappointed and ready to move on with Destiny 2 after the lack of simply fun in the game. The many design choices that were undone from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2 and now partially reverted and improved even in Destiny 2 Forsaken are a return to a great form. Right now, I'm more in a position where I don't play as much anymore when it is not me and my friends just playing some of the new game mode, for example, Gambit, which honestly saved the multiplayer aspect of the game for me, because I just don't like as much as of the regular PvP experience anymore, and of course raids and Gambit for me are now the big main part why I even play Destiny 2. While some decisions are still arguable, like how Hau5test had to die, which is something I still get worked up about, the ongoing lore developments up until now are fascinating and pointing towards a greatly written game world, which sadly lies way beyond the average player who might just play the campaign and then drops off again. It's truly becoming a distinct MMO shooter, which, especially on PC, has found me as a new core player while my PS4 friends slowly moved away, and because there was that much more friends to play with anyway, because they were just tired after 3 years of Destiny 1. I, for one, look forward with lots of hope that this trend of useful fan feedback finds a ground at Bungie, since they're now independent from Activision and can create things on their own. So far, nothing is known of what else will happen in 2019, as no DLCs are announced, but only life cycle updates, and one of them still being hidden. Maybe something more interesting regarding it though? Who knows? Will 2019 be the year for Destiny 3, or will we see another major expansion update? Who knows? I for sure am excited to continue playing again, and after the last year, that really feels like a good thing to say. For the best game of 2018, my personal choice fell on the platforming and soul-uplifting game, Celeste. Luckily, it's currently on Xbox Games for Gold, so if you have an Xbox and Xbox Live Gold, you can play it this January 2018 for free to keep, and I really recommend doing so. And if you don't have it, just get it on all the other platforms as well. Just play it really, it's a good game. What I so much adore about Celeste is the whole package. From its gameplay and level design, which manages to create surprisingly varying levels of beauty and difficulty into the details of it, it's also the looks and sounds that are in this game. The style, the artwork, and especially how everything comes together into one package. The music on top is a fantastic work of art alone, and will definitely be in my collection of memorable video game soundtracks, to which I'm listening to right now. But also the characters. Madeleine, Badeleine as we know her now as, Theo and all the others enrich the story, which basically is about climbing a mountain, but also overcoming the challenge, surpassing your own expectations of what you can do, who you can be, and who you want to be, and especially also of what lies ahead of you. After I finished the main story of Celeste, I felt myself like I had just climbed a huge mountain. Which is, funny enough, the same thing that I also said in my review last year, but I digress. I could go on forever about Celeste, but for that I'll just point out to the review of the game that I did here on the Newbot. It's truly a game like none other. I can't wait to see what comes next from the team behind it. So this is it. This is my top 2018 games list. As I said already in the video, it's not necessarily a go out and buy these games that I liked list, especially because not every list on the game is something that I liked, but definitely the last few ones are a recommendation from my point, as I hopefully made it clear. I'm wearing this cool sweater right now with Super Nintendo on it, and I definitely hope that I'm gonna play more retro games this year as well. Then I'm gonna bring my remaster video series finally, after I planned it out in May of last year. And yeah, there's lots of great things to come. More Battle Stories episodes coming in 2019, and everything else that I purely liked to create and that hopefully also you like to view. So with that being said, let's end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. Please follow us on Twitter, join us on Facebook, and of course also on our Discord channel, thenewbuy.com/Discord. That's the link how to find us, how to find our invitation link, and of course have a nice rest of the day, the week, month, and also of course of the year. And at last, have fun playing. When it's this and I'm out. Thank you again for watching, and I hope I see you again soon. Bye bye.